a year ago, who would have fantasized that Bernie Sanders was the most liked politician in America in the year ahead?
Nobody.
Right?
Nobody.
The most liked. I can tell you that I had students who, when I first knew them as freshmen, they were committed conservative Republicans. And, you know, whether they were libertarian or religious conservatives, who in the course of this past year have told me they want Bernie Sanders. Why? Because they're coming to recognize what's going on in America. And if we older folks, I mean, you're young, but if we older folks start talking, you know, those of us who are for Bernie, if we start talking about, well, I've had it and all that, we're basically wasting a whole generation's energy.
Yeah.
We need to cultivate their social democratic, if you prefer, democratic socialist instincts.
Yeah.
Their lives, our lives, depend on rallying around this question and sustaining this movement. Look, Bernie Sanders said in interviews regularly, I remember one in particular with John Nichols in The Nation, he said, you know, I'm not a liberal. I'm a democratic socialist. And the campaign that I'm going to run is intended as a political revolution. Now, he knew when he said that, it wasn't like overnight you were going to accomplish all of these things.
Right.
Hell, even if you had democratic majorities, it wouldn't have been accomplished in one night.
Right.
But what he has done, okay, in the course of this, is he made certain words part of our vocabulary.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Democratic socialist, political revolution, inequality, campaign finance reform. I mean, you know, I'm 66 years old, and this is the first time in my life that I didn't have to hold my nose even in a primary, I think. I mean, it's really that astounding to me. Who would have imagined, especially 18 to 39, 40-year-olds, talking about voting for some 74-year-old Jewish socialist who grew up in Brooklyn and represents the state of Vermont?
Right.
I mean, this is an extraordinary year.
You know what? I can't. I thank you. First of all, let me say thank you. And a couple of the people in the chat room are in our private chat room are saying thank you as well, because you're really putting it in a context that I think is so often missed, and I think I even missed it. Right, that we really aren't considering the significant gains. And actually, I've been thinking about this in terms of Bernie Sanders. Like the way I see it with Bernie Sanders is like he's really taking it on the chin. He's taking it on the chin for progressivism, and he's introducing things back into the national conversation that have never been in the national conversation in my lifetime.
Right.
And we finally are having a conversation about left-leaning, some balance, right? We're finally bringing America back into some, and we're not there. We're so far from being there,
not there.
But he's given us the language, like you said, he's given us the vocabulary, and he's giving us the energy and the model. I mean, we can't neglect the fact of what he's done. And so looking at the model that he set, what do you see? I'm not going to tiptoe around it. It's going to be almost impossible for Bernie Sanders to win as much as I want him to win. Let's say he doesn't win. What do you want to see as the next step? What do you think is the best way for us to move forward?
Okay. Well, first of all, I do want Bernie to go all the way to the convention.
Okay.
And I want him, as Donald Trump would say, to cut deals. I want deals made.
Yep.
I mean, the deal that I fantasize about most, I was reading somebody, I don't know if it was in Huffington Post or somewhere, said Bernie ought to ask for the Democratic majority leadership in the Senate.
Okay.
Make it that clear. And even if he doesn't get that, he should demand. I mean, he's already a leader in the Senate for the Democrats, even though he hasn't been a Democrat. He's been an independent working in the Democratic caucus. He needs himself to position himself in a fundamentally a spokesperson-like way.
Yeah.
And in that fashion, folks, you know, look, the Democratic senators themselves disappointed me. I wanted Elizabeth Warren to endorse him. Durbin, all these folks didn't do what they should do. But that doesn't mean they're not progressives, and it doesn't mean they can't encourage political action.
Okay.
But here's the other thing. Bernie, and this distinguishes him from Hillary Clinton in a far more fundamental way, even, believe it or not, than a policy way. And it's this. Hillary Clinton, over and over again, from the moment she launched her campaign at Four Freedoms Park, and we'll get to Four Freedoms next time over and over again, she has said, I want to be your champion. I want to fight for you. Even last week when she was doing her victory speech for the New York primary, it said underneath on the podium, fighting for us.
Right.
Now, one of the beauties of Bernie Sanders' campaign, and it echoes a Rooseveltian, Franklin Roosevelt kind of politics, is he's not telling you, I want to fight for you. He was basically encouraging the fight in you. And Bernie has been encouraging the fight in us. And in that sense, the trick is, how can Bernie and whoever else is alongside of him, the state senators and other folks and the movement people, how can they continue to sustain that sense of encouraging the fight in us? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, maybe once the campaign is settled, and again, let's hope for Bernie, but let's realistically face the fact that it's going to be Hillary. Maybe then Labor can rediscover itself because they've seen all this young and youthful energy. Maybe the civil rights movement will all the more embrace Black Lives Matter, and we can start bringing all of these things together in some. There doesn't have to be called a grand coalition. It's that we march together. We march together.
I love what you just said, that Bernie is encouraging the fight in us. That is that's something
that's been my motto for the past year. That's why I love Bernie.
Yeah, no, it's been so fascinating to see the amount of people, the numbers of people that are actually as progressive, if not further progressive than even Sanders. And Sanders has been giving voice to that. And he's taken it. And I keep going back to that imagery where he's really taken it on the chin for us to come out and be as bold progressives as he's been throughout. You know, we're just catching up with him in terms of his politics. He's been pretty consistent over the years. He's been very consistent over the years. And I love that imagery that he's encouraging the fight inside of us instead of saying, I want to be your spokesperson. Even when he says, I can't do this alone, right? I can go to DC, I could win, and I still can't get it done because it's something that has to come from you.